Because my volume was down. Ha ha ha. You're orange.
Yeah. What up? Hello.
That's not working at all.
Crunching.
Stop crunching.
I'm crunching.
It's my favorite sound effect.
I love it. That is like the sound of me trying to leave the house in the morning, like when it's early. It's just a bunch
Bunch of chaos.
Just chaos. Trying to make breakfast, trying to feed the dogs. Forget everything. Every time we leave the house, I have to go back in. Get a new one. My headphones are too loud.
All right, ready? Random sound effect.
Oh, that got chaotic.
Whoa!
I don't know if we've ever listened to that thing all the way through.
No, I picked a new one.
That was wild.
Moot Points Podcast. What's going on, everybody? Hey, listen. If you bet the under on 1.5 this week, well, I have news for you. You lost!
You lose!
You lose, suckers!
You lose, sucker. Bad bet. That's a bad beat.
I am Brian Moot. With me, as always, Patrick Moot. He vowed this episode to keep his ish together.
We'll see how that goes.
Because for some reason, man, like, you're so calm, and then we turn the microphones on, and you become like a raving lunatic, and you're yelling, and I gotta blow you off your microphone with one of these. That's a lot of... We'll ease up on the gunshots.
Let's ease up on the
But I don't know, man.
I don't know. It's, okay, listen, here's the deal. You're on the radio every day. All morning long, you're on the radio, you're talking into it, you realize how to, like... You're like a kid who lives at Disneyland, and I'm like the kid who just goes there, like, once every 20 years, and it's really exciting for me, okay? So we got to podcast more if you want me to keep my ish together.
That's a great analogy.
Thank you.
That I do. I am
You're
a kid at
The
Disneyland.
kid that lives in Disneyland.
Coming to you live from the AMP Radio Studios in Wilshire on Miracle Mile in Los Angeles.
In Miracle Mile on Wilshire.
Is that what I said? Did I say it
You
wrong?
said the opposite. You live...
In Miracle Mile in Wilshire on Miracle Mile?
Yeah, that was
I
what
don't
you
think.
said.
I don't even. I'd love to go back to the replay on that, but because I don't think you're correct. Because I don't think you're actually listening to most of the things.
I'm
I
already
say.
doing what I said I wouldn't do. I'm sorry.
See, because we're like our ultimate goal is to have this podcast be so tight. And don't laugh when I say this, because things are in the works. We're trying to get this podcast on more podcast networks, and be able to, sell it to maybe XM radio and tell stories.
We just want to do this full time all day long for you guys, but in order to do that, we need you to tell your friends, and your friends tell their friends, and everybody to listen to us religiously, get moot tattoos, all that
Don't
stuff.
put it on them.
It's on you!
We need to keep it tighter. And last week, I feel like we had Andrew Slater. Last episode, we had Andrew Slater, comedian, and we were a little bit all over the place. I think I turned Patrick's microphone off a good 9 or 10 times. I probably won't do that today.
That was Andrew's favorite part of the show.
Well, that's because he's a comedian who wants to see you fail, kind of. Yeah. Because that's, okay, the dirty secret for every comedy fan is this. When you're at a comedy show, if you see a comedian tell a joke and the back of the room laughs, bombing.
Yeah.
Person is not doing well.
Oh,
now,
wait, I thought that meant you were doing great.
You're doing great with the comics, which, well, I'll be honest. Sometimes that means that your joke is great and that you're not connecting with the audience, but maybe the audience is messed up. Maybe it's like a crowd full of old people. Or, man, I've had some bad beats in front of old people.
Me too.
Old people, well, let me not tangent. We're going to work on tangents today.
We're going to work on not tangenting. Stay focused.
And, I gotta pull up our stomp clap music. You know what? I got a stomp clap rant coming for the old folks. Who go to see comedy.
I really don't like old people, and I hate to say it. Like, they scare me more than, like, children. They're just all melty and weird. They're so...
Table that.
Sorry.
Table that. We'll get to your fear of old people after my old person rant, and maybe you can get in on the stomp clap rant as well. The problem is that sometimes jokes that you think are funny, like me turning off Patrick's mic, it's killing with the back of the room, which was Andrew Slater, because he's a comedian, and it wasn't killing with you. Point is this. We were planning on having audio clips and things to play. That didn't happen because this is kind of a slow-moving beast. We are a podcast glacier. Yeah. We are moving at a slow pace, but eventually we will not be able to be stopped.
It's a soft open. We're doing a soft fifth launch of the Moot Points podcast. We're kind of testing the waters, and if you guys don't get on board, then we're out of here.
I haven't pulled up the We Will Rock You yet, so if you could just
Okay. keep
kind
it
of
together.
not yet, just okay.
We won't go anywhere. We're going to keep doing this whether you guys listen or not, so don't even worry about it. I have nothing else going on in my life.
That's not true, Patrick. You spent so I asked him what are you doing right now? Because you talk to me every day like you get out of your man cave of a house, Shady Shack Studios,
Yep.
and you look like this is the first time you've seen any sort of human being.
I've actually been trying to dress so that when people see me, they're like, you look like a conspiracy theorist. Because that's what I feel like. I sit in front of my computer all day for the last 12 days editing the same music video, listening to the same song, every second of it, over and over, looking at every single frame that we shot, 4 minutes, and trying to decide if that's the millisecond that I want to use or if it's a different one, with no help from anybody, doing this all by myself.
What's the music video for? Let's let people know who just started
we've
finding us.
okay. So we talked about it a little bit in an earlier podcast, one of 3 that we've done so far. But it's called Vamos a Bailar. That's the name of the
3
song.
in this season of the relaunch of the Mood Points
the
podcast.
soft relaunch of.
Well, just think about it this way for people who've been listening, and I know it's been shaky at times, to say the least, but you've been here since the beginning.
Yep.
We plan on bringing back Brewvolution as a new segment called
Hard Pass.
Hard Pass, where we bring people in, guests in to read scripts they wrote a long time ago. I know I've got a couple too, in which we will read them and make fun of them and tell them exactly why everyone in history would pass.
Why
on
I've got the
script.
hard pass. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been literally cutting a music video for the last 12 days nonstop every day. And today, finally submitted a first rough cut to the client. So we'll see if Jasmine Lucero and her Uncle John are into it.
Congratulations.
John's our manager. Thank you. I can change out of these sweatpants.
You got something else to
Finally.
say about that, or what?
No, I can now change out of these
You
sweatpants.
know, you did that
I've been
sentence.
wearing
You
them for
left
10
me
days.
hanging on that sentence.
No.
Where you were like, I find change out these sweatpants. And then the inflection was, I got more
No, it was
words to say.
It was a statement. It was like an exclamation point, not a period.
So I brought up killing in the back of the room because sometimes you got old people in the front. And I'll tell you one thing right now.
Uh-oh, I think we got a stop clap going on. Brian's angry.
I don't know who I'm more furious at right now. I don't know if it's the old person sitting in the front with their mouth hanging wide open, looking at me going like, oh my God, is that my grandchild? I can't tell. I'm looking down my bifocals right now. Or is it the person who booked the comedy show, the comedian booker, the agent, who did neglect to tell me that it was at a retirement home? Oh, showtime's at 5 o'clock. Why wouldn't that be weird on a Friday night? Are you kidding me? Or how about the recreational coordinator at the nursing home who thinks, why don't we bring in a millennial comedian to talk about, to go up there and sing and dance and talk about things that old people don't get? Or is it the old people come up to you after the show and say, you were so great, I loved you? Then why didn't you make audible sounds like laughing?
Yeah, why not, old people? What's wrong with you? Brian's fired up.
Well, what's wrong with them is that they're old.
Well, that's their old, but who's, like, why comedy shows, old people? Why?
Well, it's not their fault. They're actually comedy hostages. So
Are they just
I feel that was like a
confused?
little bit of a misplaced stomp clap rant, but I didn't get one in last week, and I felt a little bad about it.
Yeah.
Okay, I am headed back to Atlanta this weekend. Speaking of gigs that could go horribly wrong, I am hosting and emceeing the Georgia Engineering Association Awards in front of about 4,000 or 5,000 people, and I have to read their names off a teleprompter. And their names are very complicated. Engineers come from all over the world. The names are very complicated. They'll spell them out phonetically. Unfortunately, I have a real problem with reading because I can't read capital letters when they're all in the same
But should they do it
word.
in cursive?
Can't read that either.
I can't do
the scripting. And I'm going to be doing that, and I'll be making fun of myself, and I'll be in front of 4,000 or 5,000.
So what is this for? I wasn't
The
listening.
Georgia Engineering Association Awards, and they just give out awards to engineers who built good bridges,
Good bridges.
came up with good structural soundness on their bridges. Here's my concern. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I feel like once I hit 35,000 feet, the altitude makes me more susceptible to crying to romantic movies or movies with like a little bit of a sad
Are we doing like a
edge to it.
Brothers callback?
Well, I wanted to tell that we haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah.
And I feel like every time I'm on a plane, it happened with Brothers, which is a sad movie. It's the movie
I
where.
can't believe that was still even on planes now. It's from 2009.
Well, I didn't go
It's
into the
almost 10
new
years old.
releases. I've already seen all the movies.
Wow, you went deep.
Man, I don't know what happened to me over the last Oh, yeah, I do. My girlfriend currently, she loves movies. So every time we're hanging out, we watch a lot of movies. So I've seen all the movies. I've seen every movie.
You know what's
all
great?
the new movies, I've seen them all.
You know what's great about Brian is the other day he was like, dude, Pat, have you seen Pretty Woman? That movie's like really good. I was
It
like,
is
oh,
good.
wow. Yeah, no, I know, Brian. I know. I'm aware that Pretty Woman is a good movie.
It's a lot better than I
Like
thought
he
it was gonna
just found out.
be. I did.
mean,
I
he
was,
did. He
I was
literally
mystified.
did
I
just
didn't
found
know
out.
it was a good movie.
Did you know it's good? Yeah. Yeah, everybody knows that.
Here's the thing. When people, I shouldn't say people. I should walk that back a little bit. When women really love a movie from my childhood, like 90s, early 2000s, generally I hate that movie. Or I would have hated it back then. Now, because I was too young to understand the symbolism.
That it was just good.
No, just the deeper things
Well, there's
in it.
other things going on than the stuff that girls like.
Right. So
There's
all
like
I thought,
deeper meaning.
All I
and-
thought Pretty Woman was when I was like 13 or 12 or whatever, whenever it came out, was all I thought it was about Julia Roberts getting a big old makeover in Hollywood, and I was like,
Yeah.
that movie can
10
suck
things I hate
it.
about you. Or wait, She's All That. Seen it.
Not-
all good.
Well, that movie would be funny because it was a teen
That movie's
movie.
so bad because all they did was take her glasses off, and they're like, "Look, she's hot now."
That is a great point.
I think
They're
she
like,
was hot
look
before
at this,
the glasses.
look at this ugly nerd.
I thought she was hot with the glasses on. I'm not gonna lie. Put them back
She looks
on her.
smarter with the glasses
I
on.
know.
That's a bias that we all have, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have glasses on, you look smart. When I put my youngest brother Killian's glasses on, immediately people would listen to me if I gave him directions.
If I
on
put
something.
glasses on, people start asking me questions.
Which is going to backfire on them immediately.
Crazy because nobody asks me when I dress like I usually do, which looks like a really rich homeless person.
No, right now you kind of have like a Popeye hipster look.
Yeah, that's right.
Like you're wearing like a hat. Yeah, you're wearing
My
that.
farms are big from doing stencils.
Yeah, that's not probably the fact.
I don't know.
The case. No, and then you got a striped shirt on that's kind of stretched out. So you also look like you could be one of those gondola
Ooh,
drivers.
What about like a militiaman from the south of France?
No. A gondola driver. You're not strong enough to be a militiaman. You definitely look like you've got shoulders that look good for pushing the gondolas with those long sticks.
The moon hits her eye like a pizza in the eye. Don't do the guns. We got to find something that's less aggressive.
All right. Let me
What
try
these
this.
times?
Row.
Like maybe birds
All right, how
or
about this?
flowers. Crickets.
That's a Subway.
Do you
No.
have crickets? You got crickets.
Biting into an apple.
Yeah, that's really uncomfortable.
Coughing. Oh, splash.
Splash.
That's a
yeah,
good one.
yeah.
Splash
You're
right
drowning, Pat. You're drowning.
Cannonball. Bowling. I like splash better. All right. So I'm gonna be on this I'm gonna be on the plane this weekend, and I feel like I don't know what it is. I just get misty eyed as soon as something happens. The movie I just watched. Oh, this was the movie. This was it. So Brothers was actually sad because we've talked about that.
Yeah, that movie's sad.
It's actually a sad movie. Jake Gyllenhaal and
Just to recap, though, I'd bang Jess if you died.
oh his yeah.
Or even
oh
if you were
my
like,
oh yeah.
or
We
even
did
if
talk
you were
about
like 10
this.
minutes late.
We did talk about this.
Yeah,
This is
we
why we're
did.
gonna do the podcast more often.
I know. Brian forgot we talked about it. It's
Man,
fine
my
because
life's a
I
blur
just
right
want to
now.
bring up how I want to bang his
I have
girlfriend
been
again.
at a radio station for exactly 12 hours on the nose right now. I've been at a radio station. No, it was the movie A Mountain Between Us. And it was a movie with Idris Elba
Okay.
and I believe Kate Winslet.
Oh, yeah.
And they
Man, she's a tearjerker.
and they crash. You get out of here.
I just cry when I look at her, and it's not because of anything
She's
other
got a
than
pouty face.
I know, but it's beautiful pouty face.
I do not think
She'll never let go, and I'll never let go.
she will let go. She didn't even try.
She
She
let
didn't
go
even try to
immediately.
hang on.
She let go immediately.
So I knew this movie the whole time was going to be. So they're crashing the mountains, and they're trying to live, trying to survive, whatever. I saw at one point they were going to have to eat the dog.
Trying to live, trying to survive, whatever.
I mean,
Brian does
plane
movies.
crash, blah blah blah.
We're back with Brian does movies.
But here's the thing: like I got snuck up on with the crying, and I have another movie this happened to me too, and it's always like a love connection I already know is coming, and then when it happens, I feel like an idiot, but I still I'm like oh, and I started to cry. It was at the last scene of the movie. Spoiler alert: have you seen the movie?
No.
Well, they survive. That was rude of me to do,
Wow.
but I have to tell that for this part of the story. And they're running to each other to hug each other, or they walk away from each other first.
Why would they do that?
Because they met up for coffee and they're safe and sound, and then They walked away, and then they both turned around at the same time, ran and hugged it out, and started kissing and stuff, and I started crying.
Do you think their baby would be Blake Griffin?
Does that further this conversation at all?
I'm not sure.
You mean,
I
would
was
it
just
be,
trying to picture what their baby would look like, and suddenly
would
Blake
it be
Griffin
a
popped in.
biracial child? Is that what you're asking me? Yes.
I
would
just
he
think
be
it would be no
7 feet tall? Hell no.
No, I mean, would it be like a perfect specimen? That's what I mean.
I mean,
Because he is kinda.
Blake Griffin?
Yeah.
He's got
You don't think that?
He's got rodent eyes. Like his eyes are really tiny for his head.
Well, he can see what you just said, and he's not pleased with his run.
You really took this off the you gave me nothing there. That was amazing.
I just think that they would have a hot, perfect baby, and that to me
They
is
would
Blake
have
Griffin.
a biracial child that could have red hair. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm saying that it would be a perfect human specimen like Blake Griffin.
You are an idiot.
What?
That is so dumb.
I feel like I'm right. We're going to do a poll. Is Blake Griffin a perfect human specimen?
No, that was your poll would be, is Blake Griffin the child of Idris Elba
and Kate Winslet.
Yeah. And it's just a weird thing to throw out.
It's just what popped into my head.
Well, don't.
I tried to
Suppress
picture
that.
them making a baby.
This
I
is
did
why
that
I have the gunshots to blow you off the
successfully,
mic because
and then I pictured what their baby would look like 9 months later, and Blake Griffin.
Yeah, a biracial child. Okay.
Perfect
but it wouldn't be
human
a
specimen.
7-footer because neither one of them is tall.
I think he's like 6'10". And
Oh,
Idris Elba
way
looks
off.
tall on TV.
It's because they put them around short people.
Wow.
Or like average height.
Maybe they do that to Blake Griffin too.
Oh, man.
All right, you can go
Didn't
back
we
to-
decide that we were going to try to keep this tighter?
I tried.
You did not try. You
I
tried
did.
for 2 seconds.
You should have muted me. This is on you.
I don't have anyone else in here to talk to. It'll just be like just me talking to myself. It'll be uncomfortably weird. This is the movie that got me started on this whole situation of crying on planes, and it snuck up on me. And it was the movie. It's embarrassing. It was the movie What Happens in Vegas.
How did you cry to that movie? Was
Because
it because
they-
you were watching it and
because
you were
they-
just like, man, I can't believe I just wasted that much
Because they
time?
rekindle their love at the end. They get married in Vegas. It's Cameron Diaz and Ashton Kutcher. And they get married in Vegas on like a drunk night. And then they go their separate ways. Then they like, hey, you know what? Like, I hate you. They're like, let's try it. No, it's not going to work. Whatever. And then he flies back across the country to tell her that, hey, like, I do like you. Let's give this thing a go. And bam, floodgates open.
Okay. First of all, the statement, what happens in Vegas should stay in Vegas, has never been more truer than when it comes to that movie. That movie should have stayed in Vegas. They should have never done anything with it. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Why? Why are you such a hater?
I'm also wondering why you're watching movies on the plane that are 10 years old that weren't even good 10 years ago.
Because, no, this is like years ago I watched this one.
Oh, it was years ago.
Yeah,
You
I said
cried?
this started the whole thing. Yeah, man, I cried. I'm not afraid to admit that I cried.
I wasn't listening. I was picturing Kate Winslet and Idris Elba
You're an
having
idiot.
banging.
All right, I'm playing reset
each
music because I'm hoping you pull this out of a nosedive right now.
Sorry.
Because I can't turn your microphone off, and you've banned me from using bullet sound
Maybe
effects.
you should give me the mute button because I know when I'm going to say something stupid. I can feel it boiling inside of me.
Believe it or not, everybody, I have been a happier person as of late. I've been a more positive person. I've had a greater outlook on life. I know you probably can't tell by the fact that I'm always muting Patrick's mic and calling him dumb, and that's not always.
I can't tell, and I'm right next to you all the time.
Here's why.
Are you
It's
happy?
been the last couple weeks. I've just been busy. And so I have no idea what's going on in the news. I don't know what's going on the Trump show, which is now American politics. I don't know. I know nothing. I know the big things. Like I know about Broward County, Parkland, Florida, and that
Never again. Raise up, kids. Get it.
that awful tragedy that happened up in Parkland, and once again reviving the assault weapons AR-15 debate. We had the bump stock debate after Vegas. We have this debate every single time. I think, and listen, I know that a lot of people that listen to this podcast, I don't want to debate the Second Amendment. I don't want to debate gun control. I don't want to debate whether or not citizens should have AR-15s. I have my beliefs on it. I'm sure some of you do. And I don't think, and I hate it when this becomes a blanket gun control issue when one of these things happens, because it happens every time. Now listen, the first Sandy Hook, some of those other things, some of those other when these weapons were used, these assault type, semi-automatic assault rifle types were used, I was all on board with this gun control debate. I was all about it. But now I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the debate in terms of, it's my right to have a gun. Okay, man. Look, that's in the Second Amendment. That's your right. Now, what I find fascinating is that out of all of the times this has happened, now we've got the kids, the youth standing up, the youth getting into this whole situation where there's now going to be the March for Our Lives, which is, I believe, March 24th.
March 24th.
It's going to be a march on Washington to show politicians that these school age under 18 kids, the non-voting kids, want change. I think that's pretty special right now. I don't care what you believe on the issue, but I think if you can't set aside how you feel about the specific issue and just say, hey man, I respect the fact that in America we have the right for 14, 15, 13, year olds to walk out of school, to go and try to tell their elected officials. Yeah, they didn't elect them, but elected officials represent everybody. I haven't seen, what's funny? I haven't seen any of the news. I don't know how this was received. I think I'm kind of in a unique position right now where all I have is my own feelings. I haven't watched CNN. I didn't see the town hall. I saw some clips of kids going after Marco Rubio and
they got
debating
after that dude.
But I haven't seen any of these things.
Him.
So what I find interesting when it comes to unplugging from social media is I don't know if all I know is how I feel in my heart, and how I feel in my heart is I'm glad that the youth of America are standing up for something they truly believe in, and I believe that this is going to be more impactful than a bunch of grown-ups arguing gun control, because that is useless. That is useless on every level. It's useless for me to do it. It's useless for politicians to do it. It just ends up being useless.
So here's the thing, because Brian knows, I am obsessed.
Pat monitors CNN like he's
the
government.
I watch it. I do.
Like he's a government agent.
I didn't. I spent way too long not caring. 8 years of Obama, and I just tuned out. I was like, look who's in charge. Why would I care? Why would I care? This is like having the best pilot in the world flying a plane and looking over his shoulder like, you're good. You're going to land this thing fine.
But I think that's unfair, though. Let's
I wasn't paying attention, and that was my bad.
Okay, yeah. Before you get into
there were still things going
thoughts and opinions, because I don't want to polarize this situation. I also want to be able to discuss the counterpoints, because I also feel like that's a little bit underrepresented. But I think that because of the times and because of the specific leadership style, a lot of people were asleep at the wheel when Obama was president.
Yes.
And I'll say that people go well, but not everybody. Because then people will say man, Obama was the worst. And I'll say
those people are paying attention.
I was I didn't think Obama was the worst. But then again, I was a broke comedian struggling to pay my cable bill, struggling to make it on stage every night, struggling to get a radio job. So for me, I got to be honest, I didn't watch CNN for probably 4 years.
I neither. I honestly
I didn't know the entire.
I was all fired up about the Iraq War. I still have my no war in Iraq sign, and that was when I was just out of high school. So I was at Seattle Central Community College, and I was very thinking I was going to be politically active. Then I decided to get into the entertainment industry, and I realized that the only way to thrive there is to focus only on yourself, constantly, all the time.
Self-centered. Really good perspective to have.
Blinds up, baby. I am on me only. That's all I see. That's all I'm doing. So there's just been something in the last year, politics have become more relevant. And that's not even what we're talking about right now, is politics. What I think is great, and what has fired me up recently, is to watch the fact that I see a lot of things going wrong in our government, especially when it comes to gun control. There's no reason that people need guns. Here's the deal. If you're really good, but if you're a hunting enthusiast,
stop.
all you should want is a knife.
Okay,
if you have a machine gun, you're a bad shot. You're just a bad shot.
Okay, hold on. Before you get all ranty, because I see where you're going. You're getting all wound up. Let's deconstruct that a little bit. Why do people need guns? Okay, well, the Second Amendment gives us the right to bear arms. We have guns. Okay, now I don't want to go through the entire Second Amendment. Why do hunting enthusiasts need guns? Okay, you're right. It's guns are technology that allows us to hunt safely without knives. So let's not break it down why do people need guns?
Okay, but
I don't own a gun. But I will always support other people's right to have a gun, to have whether it's be for self-defense or whether it be for hunting or just recreation. You have that right.
Okay. Before the Second Amendment was altered multiple times since 17 something.
Who did it, Pat?
Yeah, the government. The government did it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, a lot of NRA people. Charlton Heston, probably big contributor.
I'm serious. Okay, let's not go down the NRA
here's the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment says a well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of a people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. A responsible militia.
Yeah.
19-year-olds with AR-15s is not a responsible militia.
Okay,
that has nothing to do. That's the Constitution.
I see veins in your forehead. I see veins in your forehead. And as someone who's very centered, as not watching the news, okay, let's look at that. A well-regulated militia.
Yes.
Okay. Here's the problem with that type of verbiage. And I'm going to speak now from my one. I took 1 year at Boston College of contract law at the Boston College School of Law. I'm going to tell you right now. The phrasing well-regulated militia is so vague, so nothing. It means nothing. So hold on. All it means is it's like one of those phrases. Oh, well-regulated. Well, who decides who's regulating it well? Who decides this? You'll lay out all these objectives they have to meet. Trainings maybe, all these things. And if they walk in, you're like, have you guys completed all your checklist? And you have well regulated. There you go. But that means nothing. It's like when you get a speeding ticket, for example, right? You can be a cop is certified to use a radar gun. But that doesn't mean anything. There's no who certified you. The radar gun company, that means nothing.
But when people are speeding, you need a radar gun, and you need a guy with the radar gun.
Yeah.
When there's no one attacking you, you don't need a militia. So let's define what a militia means. Is a militia just a group of people who hate something?
No.
In general?
No, it's a defense system.
It is a defense system that is kind of orchestrated around defending the government or the world that you live in.
Civilian defenses.
So, and granted, it is very vague, but to say that now everyone should be able to buy an AR-15 with no background check at a gun show because of the Second Amendment, you're way lost.
See, here's why I hate
They're talking about guns that you load once at a time. Like a musket.
Muzzle loaders.
Yeah, you could hit someone with a musket and it might bounce off.
Okay, here's why I don't like talking about the whole background check stuff is that when people yell about fake news and things like that, sometimes I'm like, dude, I don't know for a fact if that whole background check loophole at gun shows is even real. I don't know if that's a real thing. I've heard it.
It's real.
No, hold on. I've heard it. I know it's state by state. I'm sure it's got to be different state by state. So I don't want to get into those situations. Now, I will say that, and I believe this, I saw this today, is that you may not like Donald Trump, but so far some of the...
You may hate him.
Right. You may. So far, some of the gun regulations that he's now proposing, eliminating bump stocks, doing more thorough background checks. I saw something about changing the age to 21. All these things are some of the most extreme gun control regulations that have been proposed ever. So you may hate him, he may not deliver the message the way you want to hear it. But I will say, from what I saw today, for some of the proposed changes, they're some of the most progressive we've ever seen in history.
This is fake news.
How did you take me down gun control alley when I just wanted to talk about how great it was for kids to unite?
So let's get away from gun control because that's not really what it's about. And I am going to ambush Brian with an idea that he may or may not be into, but I think he's going to be.
Let's tease that.
We'll tease it. No, but we're going to talk about it today because it has to happen today. We have to talk about it.
Okay, we will talk about Patrick because I do think I can see by the vein in his neck that what he's going to propose to me, and it's about his Twitter attitude. And
no, it's not. Listen,
okay.
Here's the thing. It is more about the idea of embracing the fact that these kids are changing the course of history.
True.
And that is what's brilliant.
100%.
That's what's brilliant. How can people like Marco Rubio or Donald Trump stand in front of these kids being like, this is what we want. We are children. We don't have the right to vote. You need to protect us.
Well, you represent us.
To make their voice heard. They are, ageism, that's a thing, kind of, I suppose. But... their voices.
Suppose?
I mean, their voices have been. Kids' voices have been suppressed always. Everybody can talk about how their voices have been suppressed.
Right.
Kids have always been like, "Oh, why don't you shut up, kid?"
Yeah, we don't know what you're talking about. And you extend that all the way up into your 20s.
For these kids to be smarter than the people who are in charge right now, and to be more socially conscious, more active, more like they have better morals and ethics, and like everybody who said that millennials were lazy created a generation of kids who are about to be not lazy.
I did not.
all.
I don't recall playing the stop clap rant.
I don't
music.
even need it, baby.
You
I
can't
got it in
just
my head.
go on a tear. I invited you in here to educate me on what's going on right now in the news. Hold on. I think it's completely unfair for people to say, okay, let's just be honest here. Kids get less respect for their idealistic views because they ain't lived yet. Okay? Now I'll say when I was 17, 16 years old, man, I was all about talking about things I didn't know anything about. I didn't know how the system worked, and I was like, you change this. This needs to be changed. But I didn't understand the process, the system. I hadn't lived life enough yet. So yes, I saw some clips where some kids were flat out saying, Marco Rubio, will you not take one more dollar from the NRA?
He could not say no.
Because he can't, no. Nor should he say no.
Why?
He should not say no. Because as a politician, the NRA, hey man, National Rifle Association, is Americans' rights.
$56 million they donated
Let
this
me
year
finish, okay?
to promote their agenda.
Here's why I think I can change your mind on this.
$30 million to Trump.
Because here's why I can change your mind on this. Because it's not about eliminating the NRA. It's not about making them feel ostracized as an organization. Now remember, the NRA has money because why?
Because people buy
Hold
their
on,
products.
just answer the question.
Because people buy their products.
No, because they have members who are like guns.
And they sell the guns.
Okay, but also a lot of other people sell guns. Now my argument is this. You don't say, no, I won't take the NRA money. What you say is this. Okay, listen, I need to work with you great kids who have a concern. You have a concern. You don't feel safe in your schools. I need to work with you, and I need to work with the NRA because Americans have a right to have guns, and the NRA represents their interests. So for me to say no NRA, well then they're going to go fund someone else who's going to say yes.
Okay.
Now hold on. Let me finish.
You keep doing this. You go.
You're
forever.
a rabid dog.
I can't remember my points now.
We'll
I
write
have
them
points.
down. My point is this. It would be irresponsible of Marco Rubio to look a kid in the eye who doesn't understand how the political wheel works and how things move slowly and say, I'll never accept another dollar. What he should have said, and I don't know what he said, I know he didn't say no, hold on, was he should have said, listen, I'm all on board with you. And what I'm going to do is they're going to contribute money. I'm going to talk with them. We're going to find a way to make you feel safe, to eliminate those guns, to remove the AR-15s, to really look at this issue. But the fact of the matter is the Second Amendment is not going to change tomorrow.
If he says no, the thing that dies is his political career. So his political career to Marco Rubio is more important than it is. It is.
Okay, but then who comes in after him?
But here's the other thing. So let's say there's an alternate reality where, like, you know, some people are making a whole bunch of money off cancer. They're just making a ton of money off cancer. And then they have a town hall meeting where all these kids have cancer and they're like, hey, we've got cancer and we want to get rid of it because we're sick of having cancer. And they're like, sorry, I'm getting all this money from cancer. It's really hard for me to say definitively that I'm not on board with cancer.
Do you not understand? Like
that's insane. Like, they're guns. They're guns. They're killing people. That's it.
Hold on.
The kids are. This is not me. This is kids.
What?
These are high schoolers saying that, like, hey, adults, like, can we not sell, like, murder machines?
Yeah.
To
Listen,
everybody.
They are saying that the political wheel moves slow, and when you use the cancer analogy, okay. That's what happens to big pharmaceutical companies when there's an uproar because, yes, that's a business too. And you don't think that every time a new drug comes out and they want to set the price at this point up here, like, you know, $15,000 per prescription, and then we have insurance companies who are trying to cover that up. It's a more complex process than, and yo, man, it looks great on TV to have a kid go, Marco Rubio, pledge you'll never take another dollar from the NRA.
That's a Marco Rubio question. That's all on him.
Okay,
it's all on him.
Let me propose this to you.
His career's gone, and then somebody steps in, and they don't have as much influence. And he sets a record that's like, hey, look, I stand. This is where I stand. Kids shouldn't be dying.
Hold on. I think you're no, you did not win this argument.
I did.
Don't
I just fist
do a
pumped.
little fist pump.
I did.
Because you're wrong. Because if he says
Mic
no,
drop.
if he says no, and everyone says like no NRA, they're going to fund the next candidate who's going to be pro NRA. Who all it takes is one really active senator to like start blocking votes, to start filibustering, to do things like that. So why would you alienate the people you need at the table by giving them the middle finger?
Because it's the right thing to do.
No.
It is.
Because the NRA represents all people who own guns, not just people who are pro AR-15.
5 million, they say. And honestly, I want to look into this. I think we're registered as card-carrying
okay.
NRA members because we took that class when we were kids with Grandma and Grandpa.
You mean gun safety?
Yes, and they made us sign up for the NRA.
But you're not in for life.
Do we know this?
I don't know.
They might keep us on the database.
You probably should have Googled that before you brought it up.
I'm looking it up. I am going to look it up.
See, guys,
so
this is why.
This is why we can't talk politics, and this is also why I'm just going to pitch this. So this is what I talk.
Well, we can't talk politics because I'm trying to play the other side of the fence, and you're yelling at me with your veins coming out of your neck.
Do you want to be on the side of the fence that is
I'm on. No, man. Listen. I'm feeling very zen today. I'm in a good mood, and I am on the side of the fence of logic.
We'll go no.
Where I agree with the students. I don't think AR-15s are necessary. I don't think anyone needs to have a weapon with that capacity. But that's not going to get anything changed again. My thing is this. For Marco Rubio to turn his back, or for the Republicans or anyone that you want to blast to turn their backs on the NRA, guns built this country. Like we are always in the Declaration.
Culture's got to change though, right?
I mean,
sooner or later,
the whole culture of our entire Declaration of Independence was built on the fact that we don't want to be subject to tyranny by other dictators and crazy people. That's why
guns.
Okay, but you can't just say no more guns. In this country, it's too big. There's too many people.
My personal opinion is that there should be no more guns.
It doesn't matter what,
because you were right when you said the real point of this is activism. It's not about like saying that this is that. So here's what I am proposing: that we go to that march on the 24th. We bring cameras and we open a forum for trying to interview as many survivors of school shootings as we can find in order to give them a voice. Because what I keep hearing is that this conversation keeps going away because nobody is talking about it, because people stop talking about it. So go to that march with the intention of we're going to go around with the cameras, with the equipment that we bought. There it is. With the equipment that we bought, baby. We're going to go to Washington and we're going to march with these kids.
This is not the stomp clap rant, Pat.
I know. This is the positivity ranch. We're going to march with these kids. We're going to hear their stories. We're going to tell people what they went through. How many closets did you hide in? 290 school shootings since Sandy Hook.
God, I'm going to turn
you down. Do you know how many
you
survivors there is from that have to tell their story? That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. That's my proposal. That you, me, and Killian go to Washington.
Killian is, I've mentioned before, he's our youngest brother.
He's our youngest brother.
You gotta realize
he's an activist. He's an activist, like, very much in all sorts of
Hey, man, I support the activism.
So is Moot Points Productions going to fund this trip to D.C.?
Yeah, man, I'll go to D.C. I'll go to the march. No, I support the activism. Don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-activist.
I'm all about the kids. I'm really not about gun control. I don't really. There's a lot of ins and outs.
The vein in your head was definitely saying.
A lot of ins and outs.
All right, let's shift gears here.
If
you're still listening,
if you need a gun, just work out more, man. Just bench press and learn to box.
I am now a 30-plus-year-old man. I'm not supposed to say my age anymore. I don't care. I'm 36.
I don't care. I'm 36. I honestly didn't.
In show business, they're like, no, man, because you play younger.
You can play whatever.
You play younger, and I'm like, I don't give a rat's ass.
I don't give a rat's fanny.
I don't give a good goddamn
a rat's fanny.
I'm now a grown man. I'm a homeowner, which I'm very proud of. I never thought that would be a circumstance for me in my life. Just never been a homeowner guy. You know what I mean? I've been a broke person living on the edge of squalor forever.
Watching you try to furnish your place on your own without Jessica's help was the funniest thing in the world. Brown's like, we'll put a bar over here, and we're going to put another bar over there.
I wanted to turn my house into a Dave & Buster's.
It was going to be so fun.
Basically.
She was like, this is going to last for like 6 months, and then when I move in here, it's all over.
Now, I know, she did have that, but that's fine, man. I mean, I think that, and I wish we could take phone calls. We will at some point. We should call one of your senators next time and let you rant.
Let me call Nunes. What up, Nunes? You gonna release a memo?
I think that, and I think anyone listening right now who can attest to this, who's moved in, who's cohabitated with someone of the opposite sex, I believe this to be a fact, that the dude will have all these ideas and the woman will just say like, yeah. But in their mind, they're like, no. And what's funny is we kind of just need you to say we'll get all this cool stuff in our place, knowing damn well we're not.
Yeah.
Like, you're coming in, you're changing everything. But on the bright side, we'll have folded towels again. We'll have, we'll have nice candles. The house will smell nice.
Do you ever like turn that down as a guy? Like, if I lived with a girl and I knew that I was doing that, I'd be like, this is all you. Like, I'm not going to argue with you about the, like, the Budweiser neon that I have, and you're like, well, I have this beautiful mirror and like this awesome sconce, and I want to put those up there.
Yeah,
It's
they
like,
look
all right,
nice.
do it. Yeah, my Budweiser neon can go
Yeah, I don't really care.
on Craigslist.
I got to be
Where it
honest, like
belongs.
my interior decorating only goes as far as like my attention span, and then after a while, I'm just kind of like, man, whatever. I don't have time for any of this.
Yeah.
But now I'm living with roommates again. A roommate, Ryan Creppen, New York Ryan. He'll be on the podcast eventually. And I find it hilarious. Well, one, our refrigerator is hilarious. Right now, it's just full of LaCroix, orange flavored.
Where do you find the orange? I keep not being able to find it out here.
Grocery store in the water. But thanks for asking that right now. I'm sure everybody's on the edge of their seat about that.
News tip: LaCroix at the grocery store. That's just in.
And I also bought a bunch of like individually packaged salads. And what else?
Is this what people want to hear?
Well, no, I'm just saying that our refrigerator's full of nothing.
Gotcha.
Well, one, I'm trying to lose weight. And you can't lose weight at a radio station.
It looks like it's working, to be honest.
You know what? I'm down. Oh, I'd like to be. I'd like to tell everybody.
Let's do a.
You know what's funny?
Brian's weight update.
Well, again, once we learn how to get this sound effects thing working again. Here, I'll just press a random one.
Yeah.
Oh no!
No! No!
That was just a pistol clip.
After my whole rant about gun control, that's what you go to. God damn it!
That was a crash.
That was Brian crashing
That was
through
just
the
crash.
wall like the Kool-Aid Man because he's overweight. Oh, this is Brian looking at the scale.
It was.
Brian at the weigh-in.
I weighed. God, that's a long ass cry, baby. So I weighed in at 243.6 in Atlanta in my
We could just round that
in
up
my
to
boxer briefs.
244.
No. Today I weighed 242.1.
All
So I've
right.
lost 2.5 pounds in the last 4 days because I've been eating healthy and I've been eating less and I've been eating more frequently throughout the day. Anyways, I'm with roommates again, and it's weird when you go from living alone in your own place and then having roommates again. Like I don't know how long I'm gonna last. I walk into my current house and I just have a mattress on the floor. And I don't feel like putting clothes away now.
and
I just
Ryan-
don't. I feel like giving up. Well, Ryan's place
Ryan
is great.
blasts you on that, dude. He's like, "Your kid can't even get a bed. You know, he's got his mattress on the floor like he's
Did he really say that?
broke-ass comedian."
Did he really say that?
Yeah, he did.
I don't have time.
He's like a
When have I
broke-ass-
been
he
here?
makes more money than all of us combined. He's living on
Don't
the floor.
put my finances on blast.
I
you
mean, that's not
ass.
that hard. It's me and Ryan.
That's a good point.
Like,
I think
you
one-
make more than $40,000 a
One
year.
year, my first year teaching special ed, I made $21,236, and the only reason I remember that number
Wait. For the year?
for the year, whole year, entire year,
So
I made
How
21
are you overweight?
21,000.
You should have been so skinny.
My
then.
I trimmed down.
Oh, yeah,
Oh no,
that's
I was living with family. That's why I can't. I kept
Oh
my
yeah, that's
maintained
right.
weight.
Lori was feeding
I
you
was
noodles,
eating-
the spicy sesame
Yeah, I was eating
noodles.
spaghetti every night and stuff. What a dick thing for you to
I know,
say
that
right
was
now.
hot.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Listen, you tried to
You're-
you
you're
tried to
just
devil's
mad.
advocate me on the whole gun control thing.
Well,
and
someone
it pissed me off.
We have to devil's advocate because there's only two of us in here, and there are people who listen to this
Yeah.
who fall on both sides of the fence, Pat.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be inclusive of everybody. And you know what? I feel very zen today.
Do you?
I feel like I can take
You look
on.
good. I like that shirt.
Thank you. It's from Target.
You guys can't see it, but it looks good.
Yeah, Pat. How did you promise me you were going to try harder today to be?
I did. I wrote some stuff down. I feel like I had some good points.
Yeah. Oh, we haven't gotten to your. Okay, let me finish up this thing, and then we
Okay.
got to go to Pat's. Pat's got a pitch for me. I'm a roommate again, and it's weird for me because I feel like I'm falling back into my bad roommate habits. I can see them happening. I'm not putting clothes away. The other day I opened one of my roommate's styrofoams in the fridge to see what food he had. Like that's a bad habit, man. That's not me now.
Sure.
Like I got my own fridge. Usually, but now I'm looking in his because I want to like steal some of his food. I'm like, oh my god, broke ass Brian's coming out again.
Yeah.
In this whole situation.
You know what's fun is to see how, like, if you can just, like, nibble, like, graze off your friend's food without them ever noticing. Like,
I do
I've
that
been
all the time.
grazing off Aubrey's food forever. My roommate Aubrey is a very uptight individual, and he would not like it if I ate all of his food, so I graze off it. Just the point where he's like,
Yeah.
"Huh, I thought
They
this was
notice.
gonna last
No, they
longer."
notice because I used to do that all the time to all my other roommates. Like I'd take one slice of pizza when there's like 6 left, and people know because people count the slices. They're
See, I
like,
do it with
I
them.
knew there were 6 in this box, and now there's only 5.
Yeah, I do with their booze, too.
So I'll keep you updated on whether or not broke ass Brian keeps making making a return.
Well, Brian's turn. Here we go.
This is called running the board, Pat.
Running the board, is it?
Pat's got a pitch for me.
Seems like we should be running from the board.
Patrick on Twitter thinks, what character persona have you adopted?
Troll Hunter!
He thinks he's the troll hunter.
Pow pow! But I don't use guns because I don't need them. I find these trolls and I choke them out with Twitter. I call them out for their nonsense. And I get after them. And I'm so good at it that this week, the very famous Eric Trump blocked me on Twitter. Yeah. And guess what, Trump family? I'm coming for the rest of you. All of you. Except for Amanda or Amber. What's the blonde one?
I think it's Amanda Trump.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to try and make a baby with her. It's not what you want. A vile snowflake seed running in the Trump game.
That is the ultimate trolling
I
right there.
love
If
it.
you can,
If I can bang
also,
his,
please
if I can
do.
bang his daughter.
God, just get your way
She's a
into that.
babe. I think she's a babe. And honestly, I don't think she believes what he believes. I think she's only been forced
I mean,
to.
she's been way out of the spotlight. She doesn't care to be in.
I know. That's why I like her, because Trump's like, oh, she's not cute. She's not huge. She's not like a million people like
Don't
my other
mock
kids.
the
And blah, blah,
president.
blah, blah, blah.
I don't really care. All right, so what is your proposal? What is your pitch? We got to get out of here soon. People put up with our nonsense long enough today.
But see, Brian has misinterpreted. I had two things I wanted to do today. I wanted to talk about the Trumps, which he didn't want me to do, and I wanted
I don't want to shy away from. I'm done with Trumps.
I wanted to secretly pitch him an idea that he also probably doesn't want to do. So the
Hold
Trump
on.
thing. Listen,
I'm done with Trumps.
Yeah, we're done on the Trump.
So can I give you a little backstory here?
Yeah.
I started doing news talk radio in Seattle. It's a liberal city, but I was on a very conservative news talk station, and it was my job to be anti-Trump and to go after Trump and that was during the primaries and stuff. And I got to be honest, man, I'm Trumped out. I just want everybody at this point to function cohesively as a group of grown-ups, and let's just fix some things.
Play Why Can't We?
So I'm out. So when Pat wants to talk about Trump, I want to play.
Brian gets angry.
I can't get over to that.
See, I'm troll. See, okay.
All right, so pitch me your thing.
So the thing is, you've kind of misinterpreted what I was saying earlier, which is fine.
Well, that's it. How could I have done that, Pat? You've been so clear with all of your intentions.
I speak in fragments of sentences, and I forget what I'm saying half the time. So this has nothing to do with the Trumps. What this has to do with was what I already pitched earlier, which is I want us all to go to the march. I want us all to go to the march on the 24th.
That was the pitch?
That was the pitch.
Oh, man, you should have told me that was the pitch.
Missed it. Well, I kind of said that. I mean, we can go to the tape. We recorded it. We're recording this. But that's a pitch. Let's go watch these kids do their thing, man. I love it.
You don't have to yell at me right now. I'm good.
Sorry. Am I yelling?
Am I yelling right now?
Am I yelling? I'm kind
of a little ranty today.
Kind of sweaty. I know. I told you I was going to tone it down. I think I can.
You toned it up, man.
This is just my new character.
Next, Angry Pat.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You're playing Brian. I'm playing Brian's advocate.
Man, I'm all zen right now. I'm in a good space. Minus the fact I live on the mattress on the floor in Hollywood, and my house is in Atlanta.
That's a nice mattress.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to the show today. We will be back next week. At least, you know what? I'm saying 3 episodes next week.
Okay, 3
And we'll have some guests.
We'll try.
Comedians, some actors. Might have some of Pat's friends out here come into the studio. This weekend, I'll be back in Atlanta. If you're listening to this right now, Friday night, 10:30 show. I'm with Andy Henderson at Laughing Skull. And then I'll be kicking around town. You can find me at Red Pepper on Sunday. I'm going full queso, man.
Wow.
Full queso
They don't have
happy hour.
white queso here, so when you're there, you got to get in like an IV.
Yeah, hold on. Do you believe that?
LA.
They don't have queso in
Yeah,
LA.
I'm telling you, they don't have white queso.
No white queso dip.
But orange queso is kind of chump. That's kind of like Bush League.
You think it's chump?
It's just Bush League queso.
I think
like,
any
if you don't
queso
get
dip.
white queso, that like, oof.
I think any
You
queso
know what's
dip's
funny
great.
is that queso's white in the South
Why is that funny? Do you want to...
because they're racist. I'm just kidding.
Thanks for listening,
a really
everyone.
bad way to end the show. I'm sorry. Hot fire. It was just a bad joke.
Oh,
I
my God,
apologize.
you're a moron.
I apologize.
I feel like I should edit that. You know what? Let's start that over again. God, you're an idiot. Why did you
alley-ooped
believe
me.
that?
You
Hold on.
alley-ooped me.
Why'd you believe that?
You alley-ooped me to that. That was your fault. Try again.
Well, I gotta start over. Got this wheel mouse. All right. Pat wants me to start this whole outro over again.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Sal.
He's firing from his hip today.
I'm sorry. Don't say firing from the hip, man. Come on. No! Too soon. It's too soon, Trump. He's got so many red buttons.
Thank you for listening to the show today. I promise Pat will be less ranty next week. Actually, I don't promise that. There's a good chance he's
no
ranty.
promises
I
made.
promise that I'll be Zen AF.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Moot Points podcast. Love all you guys. I'm going to have to edit that one, dick. Jesus.
I don't know.
Right now, you can get both Sprint's unlimited plan and the all-new Samsung Galaxy S10 included for just $35 per month per line for 5 lines. All you need is approved credit and an 18-month lease. No trade-in required. Visit a Sprint store, sprint.com, or call 800-SPRINT-1.
S10 128 gigabyte, $10 a month up to 2050 month credit applied, then 2 bills are canceled early and balance due. Unlimited basic up to $930.20, pay $32 per month per line. Auto pay data defertilization to congestion speed maximums. Your stores and restrictions apply.